As he approached his 75th year in the winter of 1916, Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes of the United States Supreme Court was almost as recognizable a sight to tourists wandering the nation's capital as the Washington Monument or the Smithsonian Institution. Every afternoon, when the court was in session, the justice would walk back from the Capitol to his brownstone at 1720 I Street, just west of the White House. Impeccably dressed in the manner of the perfect Edwardian gentleman, he cut a commanding figure as he briskly strode his daily 2 miles home. His 6'3" frame held erect like the soldier he had once been, magnificent white mustaches like a cavalry colonel's, always turned out in formal top hat, high wing collar, cutaway coat, and striped trousers, purchased from the best shops in London on his frequent visits there. He reported to friends his facetious relief that he had so far escaped being referred to in any of the newspaper articles about his upcoming birthday as the venerable jurist, which is the sacramental phrase. He was one of those rare men who had actually grown more handsome with age, possessed of a full head of white hair, blue eyes that shone with undiminished intenseness beneath bushy brows, and a beautiful baritone voice that carried the now vanished patrician mid-Atlantic accent that ordinary Americans would become familiar with from Franklin D. Roosevelt's fireside chats. Dean Acheson recalled the arresting impression he made upon him at their first meeting, just after Acheson's arrival in Washington to take up his position as Justice Louis D. Brandeis's legal secretary. "Possessed of a grandeur and beauty rarely met among men," observed Acheson, "his presence entered a room with him as a pervading force." There were certainly no hints of his slowing down. "I most of the time feel as I did 50 years ago," he told the American diplomat Louis Einstein, one of his many considerably younger friends, "except that I am much happier." He still bounded up the stairs to his study 2 at a time, and still began each day with a bracing cold bath, a practice he carried on until age 88, when he finally gave it up in favor of a warm bath at bedtime. To the young lawyers in Washington for whom he always had time for a jaw, regaling them with a sparkling stream of talk about philosophy, law, and literature, his wit ever at the ready to skewer the pomposities and self-delusions of men, the years vanished altogether. It could never occur to a younger man that he was not talking to one of his own age, said one acquaintance 40 years his junior. Charlie Curtis recalled how, as a student at Harvard Law School in 1916, he had been invited to tea with Holmes, and at once found himself so deep in a lively conversation that, to his horror as he replayed the scene in his mind on the way home, he was telling the justice what the law was. Curtis caught himself just as he was about to tap the great man on the knee to emphasize a point.